It is another what? What were you doing?
Well,
Are we coming back?
Yeah.
Are we coming back? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
We're coming back. That's fine. I'm glad you did that. Thank you for the correction.
no.
We are back. We're coming back.
Kenny Sampson's here. How you doing, Kenny?
No take twos. Just roll with it.
No.
So
Why be fake, right? Why be fake? I like showing the listeners that I'm flawed and that I'm an actual human being and that we are also a show that is not been taken over by AI. We still make mistakes. We're still just like you.
Yep.
Just like you.
Unedited magic.
More like you than not like you.
So, Kenny, I don't know if you were going to talk about the Olympics. Were you? Because if not, I just want to talk about it real quick because...
Do you have space for the Olympics?
Here's the thing. It really didn't matter what I said. If I said yes or no, you're going to talk about the Olympics.
Yeah. I'm glad
fair.
you know me,
what?
Kenny.
That's not fair. That's not fair because it matters to me.
Yeah.
You're acting as if I'm not in the room. Who is the compassionate and caring member of the
That
Tom
is true,
and Dan
but
team?
who's going to talk about the topic no matter what?
Oh, yeah, he'll power through.
No, hold on.
Do you know that for the last 2
Daniel's
years,
got emotions.
he's never let me win an argument? Ever. Not even once.
Daniel has
have
emotions, but does not care.
Yeah.
About
Here's the thing.
you
I
or anybody else.
I have emotions, but they're rotten.
You have emotions,
Yeah.
you don't care. Tom, you don't have emotions, you somehow care the most.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't
There
get
it
it.
is.
This guy finally gets it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's the
Yeah,
weird
this
part.
is the way it
you know.
works, and we don't understand it either.
You guys are literally the yin-yang 69 thing, where you fill in each other's
Yeah,
orbs.
but in a weird way. We fill it each other
And then
in
we
a
got the
very weird
little
way.
opposite color dot on the top. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
The umlaut?
No, the yin and yang have a dot of each of each other's
yeah.
color, a tiny dot.
Yeah. I don't want your colored dot.
I do have a tiny dot of emotion in there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I have a tiny dot of carrot.
Anyway, the Olympics.
So, me and Daniel have been on vacation for a week since the Olympics started.
America got the most medals. America got the most gold. What? Hold on. That's
Well, that was
it.
projected to happen.
Not always.
Not always, man. China comes strong.
So all I know about the Olympics is Snoop Dogg's there.
And apparently, Snoop Dogg has more outfits. He has an outfit for every sport he goes to, and it's fully embroidered with his Snoop Dogg crest on it.
So-
by the way, Martha Stewart is so smoking hot.
For her age. Oh, my God.
She's
yeah.
just
For
incredibly
age,
hot, dude. Hey, she's like Helen Mirren hot.
Actually, I didn't need to say for her age. Like, regardless of her age.
No.
Is,
Both of them,
she's
take the age
stunning.
out of it. I'd
No,
lay with their
the
soft
age.
bosoms.
The age definitely matters.
No, I'm into it. I'm into
because
it.
that's the amazing part, Kitty.
I'm
If she
into it.
was smoking hot at 20, I was like, well, all right,
I
there's
like
a
it.
lot of them.
Well,
Sometimes
supposedly she was. Wasn't she a model growing up?
She was a model. Sometimes I have Andrea
Yeah,
get in
well.
a tub and I pretend she's an old lady and I wash her back like I'm Joker.
Now, an insane
laugh at that.
an insane amount of money does help this. Being hot in your old age. Also, like I'm sure, being rich for a long time, you have a lot of skincare and surgery and money to throw at it. Anyway, back to Snoop Dogg. So, is Snoop Dogg just out there? Is he getting paid by someone as a correspondent? Is he out there just enjoying?
Oh, so you think he's doing this for free?
So
you
it-
honestly
well,
believe that?
It's a
I
little
don't
bit of
know.
both. So at the last Olympics, he was just posting a lot of commentary on it to a point where he was just a huge fan.
He's into it.
And his commentary, because I believe him and Kevin Hart had like an online show or like a mini show where they would talk about it, and everyone loved it.
Yeah. And
Cool.
then
Did you call it a mini show because Kevin is small like me? Because
Well,
that's effed up.
the outtakes of that show went viral.
They're funny.
Even when they were off air, they were still commentating on certain things, and then they could start doing off color jokes and stuff, and that's the stuff that everybody liked. So from that, because that went viral,
And I think NBC hired him so that way they can have him as a correspondent. That way he can be on a set schedule of, hey, appear to talk about this. Because they have the nightly recaps and they do like Snoop's top 5. You know what I mean? Where it's just like his top 5 favorite moments of the day or something.
So he's getting paid by NBC
correct,
to be
he's
out
there
here.
by NBC.
Okay.
Now,
Absolutely. That's why all of his outfits are amazing, and they have the embroidered Snoop crest
and as a
on
part
them.
of it, the U.S. Olympic Committee has kind of allowed him to be a part of it as well, which is what gives him those embroidered like outfits that, yes, it has his logo, but also the U.S. Olympic logo, all that stuff. So he's also getting partially paid by the U.S. Olympic Committee as like an ambassador, kind of like how you guys were brand ambassadors. Basically, he is serving that
I've told
role.
you to never mock our brand ambassadorship of the Orlando. Where'd we wear? It was the Orlando City Lions. Yes, there it is. It's my first day back. I'm running a little loose today. From the chat room, I'm over the oversaturation of Snoop Dogg. Nothing against him at all. It's just too much, too often. You need to tell Jelly Roll that then, because Jelly Roll is everywhere. He was on SummerSlam. He released a new song. All of his songs are slow and sad about how he sold drugs. Well, it's too much.
So the thing with Snoop Dogg is he's overshadowing the fact that Flava Flav has been a hero of the Olympics, because he paid for, I believe it was the women's water polo team, because they didn't have like money. So he's like, I'll pay for it.
It was some lady's rent.
Well, that was another one. So these other Olympians are posting, it's like, hey, I'm representing our country. I'm winning these medals. I can't afford rent because my normal day job is awful. And Flava Flav's like, I got you for next month. Don't worry.
No,
like
which was surprising because I didn't think he had any money left.
He's got a little. I mean,
enough
bit. To pay a rent. $1,400.
I think it's more impressive if Flavor Flav, who has like not. I mean, I'm sure he does okay, but I look at Flavor Flav and I know I have friends that make more. I have friends that make more money than Flavor Flav.
Yeah, like he's got some money, but he's rich for all of us. Like he'd be our richest friend.
He didn't pay it though, right? He got somebody else to pay it for him. Because he's Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
You just get it propped up by like Prudential or State Farm.
Well, especially the amount of positive PR it got. I'm very sure that a business corporation is funding Flava Flav being able to sponsor these people.
Or if you want to go full Tom, is that all is a work? He's got cash from the Olympics because they know he's good for the sport.
That could be.
And they let him just kind of, because somebody in the chat room saying he pays for people to get better seats at the Olympics. I mean, what's the best thing you can do if you have a brand ambassador is give them the credit card and go like, hey, make this a fun time by doing fun things.
Is the United States brand ambassadors Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav?
Yeah, it's me and you. It's me and you. I'm Flavor Flav.
Is that the plan of like? But that's what it seems.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I know nothing about the Olympics. I just see what I see on the internet,
Olympics
and that's what everybody's saying.
Olympics are nerds, so we need some cool black guys to make the Olympics cool.
And I'll tell you, ratings are up compared to 2021 and even the time before that. Like ratings are gangbusters for NBC and Peacock and all those
Gangbusters? What are you, 1930s advertising?
Well, it's the
23
only.
skidoo.
The sell of this Beachman gum is gangbusters. We need to produce more.
I will tell you,
cat's meow.
It's the only time in the past 5 to maybe more years that I've been on a plane and then I went to NBC on live TV and clicked on it to watch the Olympics. I've never go to NBC for any other reason.
Now, if you want to watch Olympics, you just go to Peacock.
Yeah.
And there's every
if you're
screen.
flying,
I would just live, it's live TV while I'm flying.
So they did a great job. They got the hosts from NFL's Red Zone.
Yeah, they got that guy that's I like his voice.
Scott Hansen. But then they also got the other dude with the big ears, Andrew Siciliano. So they got them, and they do Gold Zone. So they do the exact same thing where if there are like 20 events happening, they will live cut in to each random event during the action.
It's good.
It's so
they do a really good job with it, and he's a great sportscaster. So I mean, if you can handle Red Zone, you can handle any sport in the world. That guy, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the pressure of Red Zone week to week has set him up. He goes in to do this Gold Zone and Frank's the easiest thing in the world.
So, okay, I wanted to ask you about this because, like, yesterday we got back and we turned on the Olympics because there is something, speaking of ratings, like, just cool, especially with my son. Like, I do it mainly for my sons, just so they could see the Olympics is on.
I'm seeing a theme here.
And
you do everything for your sons.
Well, because I wouldn't like turn it on for myself. I don't give a damn.
I like having sports on. There's something about having live sports events.
But you also
I like watching the basketball. Like obviously the basketball team, the USA basketball team, is filled with the best superstars that we have. So that's fun to watch. But I'm saying like handball and field hockey was on. Like I have no interest in field hockey or handball besides from the just being interested in watching it for 10 minutes. Be like, what is this?
I think in the back of your mind, you probably know I would never watch this sport, but what I'm tuning in right now is the best of the best. I know it cannot get better than what I am seeing right now.
The thing that I like here, I'll give you a for instance. I was watching. Is it shot put or what's the hammer throw?
Yeah.
Okay, I was watching the hammer throw where they stand in the circle and you get a twirl, 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 and then you launch it out and onto the field and see how far it goes. What I loved about this is that you got these big dudes and like you'll see them start their twirl, which is like it looks so effing hard to do, and then midway through them twirling, you look on their face and you know they already they knew they blew it. Mm-hmm. They knew it.
Oh yeah.
And you see them half-ass it, like you see that like maybe they did one rotation too slow and they're like that's not it. And then
everything has to be perfect.
Everything
so
has to be perfect.
formulaic. And
Yeah.
conversely, you get these giant, big muscular dudes, and then they're like pirouetting like a ballerina at the end because they can't go over their line.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're doing it so flawlessly, and it's just
like
it's
spinning
incredible.
in a circle. Yeah, it really, and it's so, like, some of these sports are, there's no other word for it other than weird, and I enjoy that.
The kayak cross that we were talking about last time I was here, where it's like a sprint race
I
with
watched
kayaks.
that, yeah.
But if you miss one of like the slaloms or whatever, you're allowed to turn around and do it. But multiple people will miss it at once because there's only a finite amount of space. So you'll have 3 kayaks like fighting each other, trying to turn around in like a tiny. It's just utter chaos.
So my question with the commentary is like kayaking or like even the handball I was watching yesterday, like women's handball. So the commentators were doing a really good job. And then I'm like, is this something that's televised normally, that there are commentators that are used to do it? Because you can't just get a regular commentator and like, hey, commentate this handball.
Yeah.
You need to know the names. You need to
Yeah.
know all the rules, and like doing play-by-play with any sport at that level, especially the Olympics, like now you have the whole world's watching, could be watching, huge ratings. So I was like, who are they getting to commentate on these obscure sports that normally I would imagine don't have commentators
So
it's widely televised?
You're also realizing the fact that the rest of the world does do this.
Yeah.
So a lot of the NBC broadcasts will have foreign people as a part of the commentating
And they
team.
just know English.
And they just know English or they speak English really well. At least in terms of the color commentary and the people that are analyzing it. Now, your true professionals, the people that are getting hired by NBC, it doesn't matter. They're like, hey, I'm a professional sports broadcaster. Oh, I got to sign handball. I have to now crash course myself for the next 2 weeks because I know I'm covering handball and they're paying me to do this.
Okay.
So it's very much a Josh Dobbs scenario where he comes in and has to learn the playbook.
You and your Josh Dobbs.
All right, so the other thing that I saw about the Olympics is, of course, I mean, I'm just going by all internet memes.
Well, I've been
reels.
watching a lot of it. Andrea's
I think
addicted to it. Guaranteed she's watching it right now.
Well, there's 2 of them. There's 2 big memes that are going out.
Yeah.
There's one of them, the Turkish dude. The Turkish shooter where
air pistol.
Yeah, his competitor is like decked out, looking like a cyborg, has like a tactical glove, standing at an angle. Turkish dude just shows up, hand in his pocket.
Dad with a hand in the pocket.
I did like hand in pocket. It's very calm.
Just casual.
So, now, the hand in the pocket, I did look at the other shooter. I'm about to ruin all this stuff because that's what I like to do. But all the shooters had one hand behind their back, so that must be the proper form that these shooters take. And this guy just puts his hand in his pocket. But the other shooters had the same stance. It's just their hand was like outside or whatever. And then the glasses that they wear, that was the only thing. I was like, the other shooters did have like some sort of weird monocle that came above their.
Yeah, but why would you wear that if you wore actual glasses like I do? I'll just wear my actual glasses.
But it looked like just one tinted lens, and then the other like really weird, like you said, monocle. But some of them also had like a weird tactical glove. Like it was almost a glove that you couldn't actually move your hand in. It was like perfectly bracing your wrist in a certain area.
And this guy didn't have. He just went out there, and that's what made all the memes.
It's also
won silver.
Everyone else is wearing like the Nike Air Fit shirts.
I like that.
He literally is in a Gildan t-shirt.
There are like baseball players that do that. Like there are baseball players that'll go up to bat, and it'll just be a wooden bat, no gloves. And they're just up there, and people are like, what the hell?
So, 2 things. One is that guy knew by not having the equipment that he would get more attention, right? Daniel said no.
You're overthinking it. If you look at the guy's Instagram, it's just him doing that same pose 100 times until he got to the
But you have
Olympics.
to realize, in order to make the Olympics, you had to have been doing competitive shooting for years.
Yeah.
So
he didn't just pick up an air gun and be like, get out there, Tony.
No,
he
just looked casual, and we all kind of grabbed onto the way that he looked.
I don't think that he's doing it for attention. I think he's just like, hey, I'm comfortable doing this. This is how we do it. Richard Jefferson, NBA player, once broke his nose, had to wear a clear mask, even though his face healed, he's like, I got comfortable shooting with this mask on, so I'm going to wear the mask. Had nothing to do with, I want the attention, I want people to know. It's just, I'm comfortable doing it this way.
But he also knows he's going to get attention.
Oh, he knows he's going to get attention, but he's not doing it for attention.
Yeah, he's not specifically doing it. Because I was like, this guy has shown up to other competitions where everybody had other gear, and he's not. And other people are like, oh, man, this guy's doing it with
but you can see it. If you go to his Instagram, like, you'll see him, like, before the Olympics, and it's him just doing the same boring pose.
It's either that or him with his cat.
Yeah, he does have a cat.
He
does have a cat.
I will say, people are like, he's got no ear protection. He had.
Oh no, he had something there.
He had some of the stuff. The other people had full-on earmuffs, like you wear on an airboat or
casual,
whatever.
Man. He actually reminded me of like the way you do things. It's like, no, it's fine. I don't need that. That's fine. He just goes up there and shoots his gun.
He had in his ear the free tub that they like sit outside at Monster Jam that like people can just take, like the little squishy, non-protective earplugs.
And so I had a question about this air pistol competition. So we were watching it because like I went back and watched what it
children. Air pistols are for children.
And so the obviously you see them like aiming, and then they have the bullseye in the bottom left corner.
The target's very small.
So then you'll see what looks like you don't see them pull the trigger. All of a sudden you just see the area on the bullseye that it hits, right? Yep. So I'm like, they're shooting a
projectile?
Pellet, a projectile, right? So and then it's going into the target, right?
Yes.
But they're enhancing it, obviously. Like it looks like it's just a laser, like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You don't see a hole go through the target or whatever.
Right.
It's just all of a sudden it's like beep. And it looks like it's just, I'm like, wait a minute, are they just doing this with the laser? Or are they actually shooting?
No, they're shooting stuff. It's just the material. It's not just like a sheet of notebook paper. The material that they use is stretched out so that way it doesn't like super rip because they want to see where it hit.
Yeah, it's got some properties to it that
it's
maintain
not like
the integrity of the hole.
It's not like the carnival game where you're like shooting that plastic or the
paper
paper
cut off
star.
the center to get the bear.
Yeah.
So then each gun looks different. So they're all customized, but there has to be some regulation.
Oh, yeah.
Like I started getting fascinated by each gun probably has like certain specs that it has to meet, but they all look different. And
well, then you gotta submit your stuff to be
correct.
And
it's the same in archery as well, where you can use a compound bow or a recurve, but if you use a compound, then it has to have certain elements. You're allowed to have certain attachments, not attachments, all that stuff. It's no different than that. And you're talking about someone who just went out there. There was a guy from the country of Chad. He was like, he just learned archery like a couple months ago because he wanted to do it. And he was one of 4 competitors from his country that qualified for the Olympics, and he paid his own way. And it was like, I'm going to do archery. He finished dead last.
Well, yeah,
but it was
going to be terrible. I mean, like, I could do that.
But don't let him go.
No, well, it was
I feel like if you're going to come in dead last and you're just going to say
started,
that I do agree with you on.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like if you're just going there to say you went to the Olympics, you have to at least be 1 before dead last.
You're wasting if you're in the Olympics, you have to have trained more than 10 years.
Oh,
seriously. It has to be more than a day, and you're going to have to give up a lot. Like, you've got to sacrifice.
What?
You're going to be obsessed with the sport. Like, you're going to be the Maisie of archery if you're going to make it in the Olympics.
This whole dance thing's going to fall apart.
It makes me so happy.
She becomes an alcoholic or a terrible woman of the night.
No, never. I'll bet you bet you my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
You can execute me if Maisie is a disappointment.
It reminds me, there's that winter Olympian, I think snowboarder, and she got awful, but she found some weird thing where it's like my great-grandfather, is for Algeria. I don't know, some country that should not be really in the Winter Olympics because it's, middle of nowhere.
I remember that.
And she convince them to be like, I will represent your country and do the, whatever. In order to qualify, you have to compete in an event. And she did that thing where it's like, all you have to do is finish. So she literally started and she did a half pipe and she just literally slid straight down and finished. And that qualified her for the Olympics. Representing this country and she does the exact same thing and just like makes no effort whatsoever.
And the people go crazy because they're like,
get the hell out of here.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I was like,
it's a waste of time. It's a waste of the run. We could have been packing up all the snow. We could have been breaking this thing down, but no, you had to do your ceremonial run.
I would scream, someone go knock her down. Because I don't like that. I don't like where you're like, well, technically we have to let one person in from each country, and this person doesn't even know how to snowboard. It's a disrespect to the other people
really is.
that have spent their lives
but they always
to get
cheer.
there.
They always cheer.
No.
Because the Olympians are not like you. Like, they're very supportive.
Well,
No.
it's a little different. This lady got a lot of heat because she straight up scammed the system. Like it was an intentional thing. There's other ones where it was like this guy was from a war-torn country, and it was one of those the entire country is in shambles, but he, always wanted to go to the Olympics.
An air pistol not going to help you in Ukraine. Well, it's not going to help.
So he was from some country in Africa, and
drone.
they didn't have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and he barely knew how to swim, but his country, just as a way to kind of show, hey, through the war
Some
effort.
guy that just been like floating in a mud hole came to the thing.
Every country has a swimming pool.
No, I'm telling you,
everyone. Seriously,
but look up the
every
video.
Every country has a swimming pool.
I'll look it
Put
up.
that on a shirt. Put that on a T-shirt.
But
every
look up the
country
video.
has a swimming pool with a rainbow.
That is fact.
And it's one of those like everyone had finished, and he is still struggling in the pool by himself.
That's called drowning.
Taking 10 times longer than everyone
See,
else.
that's set up, man. I don't believe it.
You've never put a man on this before.
No.
That means he really believes it when he puts a man on it.
Man.
I think a lot of these stories are like they're setups, knowing they did this just to make
it's an inspirational
social
setup.
media.
It's inspirational setup, right?
Right. Yeah. So he was at the Sydney Olympics. If you want to pull this up, Dan, there's no way I'm going to be able to spell his name or say his name correctly, but his first name is Eric, but his last name is like Musambani or something. But it was at the Sydney Olympics. His name was Eric, nicknamed Eric the Eel. And essentially, he competed in a race. You can look it up.
God, the first thing I've clicked on is the inspiring determination of Eric the Eel.
I'm telling you, it's.
All right, you want to say a little?
Yeah, you can probably because they're going to talk about him for a long time, but you could probably fast forward to like the actual race.
There
but
he is.
He just shows up in just a Speedo while everyone else has like these super, body suits.
He had
or
only
whatever.
learned how to swim 8 months before he entered the Olympics. Go
hold
home.
on. Every single country has a better swimmer than this.
He dove in. Here he goes. He's jumping in, and he's
all right.
He's not bad. Better than you in the pineapple. I'll tell you that.
Hold on.
This guy can blow you away.
No.
Did I get you? Did I get you a little bit?
It's ridiculous.
Eric Andre can blow you away.
There's got to be someone in whatever country he's from that can swim better than that. That's ridiculous.
Now that I would almost agree with. There has to be just a child. There's probably a natural, like just a child.
So in that
swimming.
event, like the Olympic record was 40-some seconds, and he took almost 2 minutes.
But there's got to be someone. This is all. That's what I'm saying.
No, but it's a factor. It's a factored.
They did it on purpose.
No, it's the American Idol.
Okay,
it is American Idol takes a certain level of sad stories that they know aren't going to get gold, but they put them in there because it can't just be all the best athletes winning because that doesn't have enough emotion.
But let's say that there is someone who is better at swimming. That's the person that they were able to find who wasn't, hiding from or hiding from war. You know what I mean? Like there may be people that are better swimmers. They're just worrying about making sure their family
Well, then
is
they
fed.
should do a gold medal for hiding at war.
Yeah. But also, in all war, there are places in the country that are doing just fine. But seriously, like this is true. Like even
no war here.
Like seriously, I think throughout history,
what would be the rich people?
Like
and the government people.
But also like other towns that are like far away from actually where the war is happening.
It's just a fabricated emotional story. I think they have to shove these in there.
According to it, he had only practiced swimming in a 20-meter pool at a hotel. He had never seen an Olympic-sized pool until he got to Sydney.
So what? Did the embassy suites next to him give him a pass for 8 months so he could train?
Oh, okay.
I don't believe any of this.
The next story, and really the last one that I saw that got a lot of internet attention, was the pole vault Wiener Man.
but that one, I've watched that video a bunch of times.
And by the way,
sideways, it is humongous.
This has happened before.
It's not the B, it's just the D.
Yeah. I mean, and it looked like that guy had a full-on scrod in his pants, like a big old fish.
Here's my take on this. This is better for that guy than winning the gold medal.
1,000%.
It is.
Yeah, because if like you win the gold medal pole vaulting, no one cares, right? This happens, now you are forever the guy that got his wiener caught on the pole vault bar.
The Olympic Village, the amount of people knocking on this dude's door that night from the Olympic Village.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've all heard the stories. Every athlete is
I've
just
seen the videos,
horned
too.
up.
Girthmaster. Anybody you see Girthmaster? Girthmaster. This guy was Girthmaster.
Now, this has happened before.
Yeah, but not with that big old fish. It's happened before. It's happened plenty of times. It's even happened with muscle peas. I've seen a couple. I went all in. I went down the rabbit hole. You get some muscle peas. You get some teas. Everything has been, but not a big old fish.
Because the
this
clearance,
is a fat scrod,
and the fact that
he cleared everything. Except the ween.
And then it was like, if you really, I feel like when you watch that video, if you really listen, you can hear a thunk.
Yeah,
it's like
if you paused it, it was sitting perfectly on top, like it was two parallel lines.
No, well, again though, and following the theme of me not believing anything.
Yes.
Could he have done this on purpose?
No.
Hold on, I'm back in. I was about to tell you to shut up, but I like this.
He's pole vaulted 10,000 times, right? Maybe more, right? So
shouldn't you have an undergarment that smooths out your ding dong?
That's what I would think too.
Yeah, like doesn't.
So maybe he
some
knew
skims or some.
So he's like, listen, if I free ball, I can get up there and just let it drag it.
And they're like, wait a minute, what? And he's like, I'm the girth master.
Yeah, and this will because I
understand their skill. But the sheer amount of skill when you're in the middle of the air like that is...
Okay, follow me, right? So these guys know what distance they can jump, what pole vault distance they can go, what speed they are. They've been practicing their whole lives, right?
They shave down what their
100
problems
milliseconds
are to the millimeters.
Yes,
like they shave down what they wear down to like a bar of soap. It's ounces, like 3.5 ounces is too much.
So in even like the runners where the margins are hundreds of a millisecond, but that USA runner basically
he barely beat Jamaica by like a nothing.
But everybody's joking about a tongue distance, even though they judge it by torso.
It was
or whatever.
literally like this, like a sheet of paper and his toe.
And then, so that's how close the margins is. So they all know now that race. I think they probably went into it like, hey, if I take the right step, I mean, it's going to be a 50-50 whether I win. Like, he knew it because they don't know all each other's times.
Yeah.
Like in the community, they know what they can do.
That American runner had not done well in any of his preliminary leading up to that one race. He just put it on.
Noah Lyles is a 200 meters runner. He is not a 100-meter runner.
Yeah.
And it also has to do with your reaction time off the start. Like, that is half of the race right there.
Now, I have been listening to some gambling on the Olympics, and there are some...
You gamble on Girthmaster?
There's some...
How much you put on him?
There's a gambler out there that used to be a swimmer that I was like talking about inside tips about like betting on swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, and this makes more sense to me, like a lot of these athletes, they won't, like if they're going for a world record time or like they think they have a chance to win, like within the swimming community, they all know based on what everybody's, because now information is so readily available and like internet has basically like, they know what their competitors are capable of and what they have to do to even have a chance or whatever. But going into like the prelims of it, a lot of times they won't go all out. And won't go, and then they'll go slower and just to qualify, and then give it all at the final race or whatever. So he's like, so a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, based on what he did in his prelims and like in the qualifying, like I don't know if he's gonna, but it's like that's all calculated because these guys are precise going into it.
It is, but I've seen them blow it in other Olympics the opposite direction. I've seen them go into the qualifier and set a pace that like they can never do again.
Yeah.
They gas out. Like it does work both ways.
Yeah, I've seen Olympic and world records set during the preliminaries, and then
but apparently, like the right strategy is to basically like top out right at your final race and like going. Then these athletes, like, you know, it's a lot more. They know more than the spectators think.
Well,
you know, we're all sitting back and we're like, oh, they're trying their hardest. He's like, nah, these guys have been doing this so much that they know kind of what they're capable of.
Especially if they're competing in multiple events that day, then it's like you don't want to burn yourself out if you're doing prelims in the morning, but then you're final for different events later.
So back to the pole vault. So say this French pole vaulter knew, like, all right, I don't have it in me to even place, you know, in the top 3, right? Which is the only, you know, you want to at least get a bronze.
You want a medal.
Everything after 4th, you know, 3rd place is nothing. So what if you went into it and you're like, well, I know I can't medal, but I can get my dong caught up on the pole.
But I can't lay the fish on the pole.
And then all I have to do is I'll get up there and
I'll do my patented move that makes all my bros laugh. I'll do my fish. I'll do the fish flop.
And then that will make a huge internet.
And then his friends are like, no, don't do the girth master. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. They're like, don't do it. Don't do it. He's like, watch, I'm gonna do the girth master. I'm gonna lay it right on the pole. And they're like, please don't do it. And he gets up there and he's sucking at blue. And he does flop.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'm like, could this guy have done it on
I don't
purpose?
think this one, because from what I understood, like
he's
behind the scenes, everything I read, like he's not the guy. Like you and I, yes, we do that. We laugh. And we're like, this is the greatest thing.
He was super pissed. He was also so mad.
I think after the fact, I read that he was like mortified.
Yeah. Well, the whole world. Yeah. Well, of course you are. You know, it's because I do forget on the other end of this, the people that make the Olympics are just the most driven. Besides,
he was crying. He's like, I wish I'd never been born with a ding dong.
Yeah.
I wish I never had it. I wish I was girl.
Going back to Amazie, like, you know, they're dedicated people that are just driven by, you know, the fact that they want to be the best.
They just enjoy
But here's the thing: Maisie is a dentist at heart, so you know that there's like 0.01% of her that wants to goof on a competition one time, just one time.
That's
just
true.
one time.
There is an outlier out there where she'll like poop her leotard or do something,
but
really
like
bananas,
do something intentional,
really
like in the middle of the competition, just walk up to the judge and just like pants them.
Yeah,
just pants them.
Yeah,
like,
I can see that.
Just the 0.01% Daniel in there.
I can see that.
With the French pole vaulter, it reminds me of that defensive lineman who I think was running the 40 in the combine for the NFL.
Oh yeah, that's
and whatever. But then like when they asked him about it, he goes, "D fell out." Like, that was his response.
Yeah.
Like,
it happens. Yeah. It's just funny that in this day and age, with all the different, I was reading an article today about some of the technology in the Olympics. Did you know that a lot of the swimmers are wearing, not to go back to it, but are wearing like a special swimsuit that has the same coating on the exterior of it that they use for satellites to keep like whatever atmospheric debris, or like it's the same like properties to make them skim through the water like lightning.
And they realized the technology, like everyone used to wear Speedos because they're like, oh, the less the better, the more skin. But then they were like, actually, because of the physics of the body, you need to have the shorts go to a certain point on your thighs, because otherwise the water won't catch as much. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I need it so you don't see all these varicoses. Like I've got my thighs look like purple road maps.
Yeah, when you start getting down to 100th of a second, or milliseconds, it like, yes, you need every single advantage you could possibly have. Which, going back to the shooter, the air pistol shooter, it's like, why not, if that like lens that goes in front of your glasses gives you a little bit of advantage, but maybe just not for him.
But maybe it's like you. It's like, I don't want to ride a motorcycle with a helmet.
Or, well, maybe he tried it. Maybe he tried it and he goes, this doesn't give me the advantage. It gives other people, but no, not for me.
Maybe he just put on the goggle and he's like, this is gay. He could have just said that and moved on. He could have, I hate this. This is stupid.
I mean, I know I talk about archery a lot just because I do archery, so that would be my like dream.
You never told us you do archery.
Oh, well, I do archery. But that would be my dream.
Do you go to a place and you have a bow and
I have a compound and a recurve bow, and I do target archery.
Why haven't we done this with you for a bit?
Can you shoot an apple off my head?
At a certain range, yeah.
Can you shoot a fish off my ding dong? Can you? No,
we'll be right back.
You know, it's like, can you do that? If I got naked and laid on top of a shark, like owner of Jimmy John's did? Could you shoot the shark in the head?
I think it really does depend on the distance. You know what I mean? Now, at Olympic levels, no way. At Olympic levels, it's just insane, and the variance with wind is incredible.
I did see a reel where someone said, I didn't realize the distance these archers were shooting because they never really pan out.
Yep.
They just show the bullseye and then like close up, so you don't know. And then you see the distance, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it is impressive that they're able even to hit a target from that distance.
I'm
It's
sorry,
nuts.
and this makes me a bad person, but isn't there a video every Olympics that rolls around of some old man with a fedora on getting a javelin to his back?
Now, it happened one time.
And it makes me laugh.
it's
God,
the-
it makes
yeah.
me laugh. But it makes me a bad person.
It's
that
one
I
of the
even,
judges that just wasn't paying
Like,
attention.
even right now, I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to write down, go find video of old man in javelin for later, just for later.
I know that there's those nets, but when you have them spinning around, like, God forbid they let go, I don't care if there's nets in front of you. If that hammer hurls
it's crazy.
towards you and you're like a cameraman, like, I am scared of my life.
That's one of the cooler sports because that's one of the ones that I look at that big, giant, strong guy swinging it, and I'm like, this is what he would have been doing for war. He would have been launching these, right?
Yeah.
Or killing a biblical giant. If you wanted to kill a biblical giant, that's what you use.
So with the javelin, I read a really fascinating story. So with a track for the Olympics, it has to be a certain size because obviously the length is already determined by
I watched
hundreds
this
of meters.
live where the girl had to stop.
Oh, this was I'm saying this was years ago.
Do you know they're running at all times? So if you're
Oh, yeah.
doing anything else on the track and then and runners come by, you got to pause and wait. You can't go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's
things
all-
are happening
Yeah,
simultaneously.
it's very much like it would have been in the,
Humans in nature just get faster, stronger, better with everything. So there was a point where with javelin, there were athletes that were throwing the javelin further than the infield of a track. They were just that strong to where it was consistently going beyond the grass, and they were like, well, we can't extend the size because we can't make the track bigger. So they actually changed the javelin. So they said, hey, at this point, we're stopping the record books, and these records with this old javelin will stand. Now we're going to introduce this new javelin that won't travel as far because of the physics of it.
Boo.
And then now we're going to have new javelin records based off of this
Why
style of
limit
javelin.
yourself? Just get a bigger stadium. You're
Yeah,
limiting
yeah.
yourself.
Just go outside. I want to see how far they can throw it.
Me too.
Like,
Like people don't ask Tom Brady, how
Yeah, yeah.
controlled can you throw it? I want to know if you could throw
Like-
it over the mountains
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Uncle Rico.
like I wanted, like, someone, Adrian Peterson gets up
Yeah.
there and like, whoa, like
yeah.
he throws it some insane distance and like lands in the parking lot. It was like, oh my God.
I do appreciate that DK Metcalf tried out for the Olympics. Like, that was
Did he?
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
For running?
he's one of the fastest human beings in football. So he actually went to the Olympic qualifiers to try to run in the 100 meters.
But it was like an Orlando Predators tryout.
No.
They just gave him a Jersey
Yeah, yeah.
Mike sub and he went home.
I think Tyreek Hill tried to do this too, and then
Yeah.
like it turns out other people are faster.
well,
And it's like,
again-
and that's fine. But
millimeters.
But
Yeah.
it has nothing to do necessarily with the speed or the fastness, because he could probably match them in terms of top speed. It's the reaction time
Yeah.
and the start
His
of the gun
technique.
and the technique going from that short of a distance.
Because he's not training all the time just to run.
Yep.
He's training for football, his job, which he gets paid millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all these guys were in track.
And he's
at one
also
point.
getting custom jewelry and smoking weed, too, which is really cool. Way cooler.
Yeah.
And he's making the population of Miami increase like exponentially.
So before we go,
Yeah.
Kenny, did you want to talk about anything?
Damn it. Yeah, so I did a conference for a disability organization, and they
Wait
had
a minute, I'm not playing these videos then.
They-
What are you, some kind of monster?
no, so they had like
What's a disability?
they had like deaf, blind,
Oh, I thought you
physical.
said deaf. I thought you said deaf. I was like, that is a disability.
So everything that they have to do, they have to have someone doing sign language interpretation, and it's not normally a lot of speeches and talking heads. Well, they had a party, a reception where they had a DJ playing music, and the person was like dancing along and doing ASL for the music. And then the Black Eyed Peas song "My Humps" came along, and the ASL person had to do sign language for "my humps,
Oh, I
my
know what that
lady
is.
lumps." To the back and to the front.
I know where that is. That's push it forward,
see,
grab your
here's
grab
the-
your
and
boobs.
You don't have to play the audio because there's a bunch of people talking, but you can visually look at it and you can know what lyrics are. I didn't realize that the official American sign language for "my humps" is just honking the air like booby honking.
My dad used to.
Yo, hit play. It's booby honking.
There shouldn't be a hump like
No.
a camel hump.
Oh, she's doing
So
ass.
she's doing the
Ass.
humps, and then it's honk honk, and then squeeze squeeze of the
No,
butt.
that's
And she's
not-
doing back and forth. She's official American
Hold
Sign
on.
Language.
No, but the lyrics are my humps.
My
Yeah,
home.
So
but
she's-
no, my lovely lady lumps from
Yeah.
the back into the front, and you have to imply that the lumps are the lady back and front.
No, you just put your hands in your pockets.
You put your hand in your back
No,
pocket and you point at people.
No, you're a professional. You just leave that part out.
So-
and you're like, I'm not doing this.
No,
that-
I would do it. My humps, I would do like humping the air. And then for lady lumps, I would do the honk.
So then it reminded me of a famous video of the Yin Yang twins Get Low with Lil Jon. That at one of their concerts, their ASL person did it as well. Now we definitely can't play the audio on
my
this
God,
because it's
Kenny.
whatever. But you can know what part of the song that she's signing along to.
Okay, here's a little of the from the windows to the wall.
Yeah, till the sweat,
Oh wow. Oh yeah,
Yep.
she made a.
and then they all crawl, and then
No, she did the
Oh, wow.
the
She-
skeet.
Yep,
yeah,
she did the
that's a
skeet.
lot.
and more skeet and
Stop.
So okay, this may.
My God.
I've seen.
It would have been cooler if the guy from Turkey had done that motion with his hand. In his back pocket, skeet, skeet.
So now, a lot of times they get a person to do sign language for televised.
A lot
stuff.
of times it's a homeless person that just wanders onto the set. That happens all the time.
that actually did
That
happen.
happens all. No, that one.
I think it was
That
like
is a prank.
Seminole County Sheriff's
But
Office.
I think that's happened like 5 times. Too many times. Like people are like, "Where's the ALS or ASL person?" And then they're like, "You'll do. Get out there."
And so if it's not televised and it's for just like a room full of people, right?
Yeah.
So shouldn't they ask, like, does anybody need this before? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
because if no one
no,
is
you'd have
deaf,
to ask it in the middle in case they got there late.
okay,
and
but,
likelihood are, if you live alone and you're blind, you're gonna get there late.
so
Well, if you're blind, it won't matter.
but if no,
I mean, well, all of the things. I was trying to cover all of the things.
but if there's no one that needs the sign
No,
language,
you can't stop the show for that.
then that person, you're like, all right, no need.
That's
Just
like
go back.
saying if anybody needs medical attention, we'll
No,
be
no.
over here.
well, it's like having insurance. It's like you don't know if you're going to need it. If after the fact you didn't need the insurance, great, but you might as well have it. So they'll have someone there anyway.
But if
is
there's,
this something
if there's
we
no
should add
deaf,
to our events?
well, if there's no deaf person there, then literally no one needs the person doing sign language.
But you
right?
still have to book them in advance.
Yeah, but then they
The
can.
venue may book it anyway. You may not have a choice.
Yeah, but then you're like, you don't have to do it. Just go sit
Oh,
down.
but she wants to do it.
She
She wanted
But,
to do
but,
it.
if it's for no one,
Because
do
it's
you,
a spectacle.
yeah, but I know they want
It's
to do
also
it.
for those that are hard of hearing, I believe, as well.
Yeah, it's not just fully deaf.
Yeah.
Well, you have to realize, I mean, anyone who does it, and I've gone to many concerts where they sign along, they're dancing along. You know what I mean? Like they're in the groove as well.
Of course,
so for
you don't
them,
want to look stupid.
they're
Even
getting-
if I can't hear the music, I'm going
Yeah.
to move my body so people don't single me out.
I will say there was someone, and I think they were doing ASL to like Eminem's Rap God or like Busta Rhymes, like one of like insanely fast, and they were signing
Did
along.
you know that Tom's
with
wife
them.
can rap the entire...
So she claims.
She can do the Busta Rhymes part of that, like the... Right?
Can you just add words to the screen like closed captioning?
That's not a bad idea.
Or like, why no one ever thought
That's
of
not
like,
a bad idea.
just put the words up there, and then we don't have to hire it. I'm
Not
just
a
going
bad
the cheap.
idea.
Like if I was in charge of the conference and they're like, oh, we have to hire this ASL person to do sign language, I'm like, can't we just put the words?
They're like, no.
Right? It's cheaper.
You
than
would do that if
because
you were the manager?
But here's the thing: it's not
Well,
cheaper.
if they hire this person,
It's
I'm
not
sure
cheaper
no?
because you still have to hire someone to type it, because if you tried using AI or
Yeah.
any sort of voice recognition, there's such a delay
I figured
that
out
it's not
why-
going to match with.
I figured out
Oh,
why...
no, they got good programs.
I figured out why people are turning on you. It's because you are so into AI that you're eliminating all jobs. Like, you're into it.
No,
Like, you're
this
just
is not
like,
AI.
just get rid
This-
of that. Just get rid of that job. Why do we need this? Why do we need this?
These
You're
are-
talking about people that are keeping America running, sir.
This is voice to text. Just voice to text it behind me.
There's just there's still such a delay that it's gonna not match and it's not gonna make any sense.
Oh, you don't like my ASL take on All right, I'm moving on.
Hot
But the
takes
text.
with Tom and Dan.
Anything
man.
else, Kenny, before we go?
I mean, no, we don't have much time to talk about it. I had a protest happen in one of my shows.
No, about what?
Just tossing that out there. No, it was little Gaza Israel thing.
Oh,
What's going on over there?
There was a corporate sponsor that was going to give a speech, and as they got introduced, people stormed the stage and they started shouting their beliefs that this sponsor is, funding the war, blah, blah, blah.
Arby's funded the war. Arby's funded the war. Curly fries.
The good on the people that I was working with, they were like, hey, we're just going to let them do their thing, because if we try to bring in the cops, it's going to cause way more of a situation. We're going to be unfortunately known for the wrong things.
We're just going to leave it alone. Hey, did you hear about that pole vaulter and his big fat fish?
So they just let them on stage to do their thing. After they said their speech and their chants, they kind of didn't know what to do, because I think they were expecting to get arrested. So the fact that we let them do their thing, because then they were like, let's do the chant again. So they were stuttering.
Come on, one more round.
You do expect to immediately get tackled.
Yeah.
So you're like, you go up there, you put your sign out,
Yep.
and then you're like,
speaking on the megaphone.
You wait. You're like, I'm gonna get tackled, and then nothing happens. You're like, oh, you fold the sign, and you're like, I guess I'll just go back to my seat.
And honestly, that's what happened. They said their speech. They kind of petered out, and they were just looking at each other, and they just were like, all right, thank you.
I like that. But because that you could have tackled them and maced them, caused a big problem. But that, actually is probably better for them, because that would get more
everybody.
publicity.
There was no violence. Nobody got hurt.
No, I mean the tackling and the macing would get them more publicity for their cause.
True. Oh, it is worse for their cause.
And then the show would, they don't want the show to be known as, at this show they tackle protesters. They must be for or against or whatever.
It's like
just so you know, we tackle. Me and Tom, we're protest tacklers.
Like if I'm standing on the highway and no one plows me over, then it doesn't get out there. Right?
I'm laying there. 18-wheelers don't drive over my body.
I need to get plowed over for it to make the goddamn internet.
So desperately Jackass style, like as EJ is at an event doing stand-up, like Tom just spears him in the middle of it.
That's what goes on the internet.
Yeah, it is. People love that.
You got to catch your wiener on the pole if you want any publicity.
It did. Even when it happened at Fringe, we had a protest at Fringe, and what made the local news around here? It was the one security guard who was mud stomping all day. He was stomping them good.
That's better for the protester.
It was. That wasn't funny. Yeah, it was hilarious, but he was stomping the crap out of them, just stomping their little flags.
Two Moofs podcast. Find it anywhere podcasts are downloaded.
Yes. How's your other move?
His lady moved in with him.
Whoa, moving on up.
All right.
So your podcast will shut down soon, right?
Yeah.
You lost your buddy?
Because soon that lady will be like, why are you doing this?
Why are you hanging out with him?
Not making you money.
He dresses like a freak.
There's so many podcasts, 400,000 podcasts. The chances of you making this anything.
What's that? 500,000.
Bye-bye.
Great job, dude. Thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me in.
Always fun to have you in, dude. Where's that good tea?
That is Monday, 3 and 4.
Gotcha.
Monday?
Yeah.
The Olympics will be over by then.
I know. We got back, and then we have to play a segment tomorrow, and then there's nothing airs on Friday because something got preempted.
Oh,
we're still going to do a show, but it's not going to air on the radio. So basically, we start running out of time because we started on Wednesday.
I'm glad your traveling has been going well. Are we doing another segment, T?
No, that was it.
All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me and Tom and Kenny. We appreciate you. And have a great rest of your day. And I'll go in now and try to activate all Twitch videos, so they'll be up this afternoon, and you won't have to wait for them.